Let's say you've been irritated about something since you were a child. Your parents didn't have enough money. They talked about not having enough money. They told you they didn't have enough money. They told you that you didn't have enough money. They told you that money doesn't grow on trees. They told you that they were not going to get that for you. They helped you, not in all cases, but in many cases, carve out a pathway to not enough money, a path of least resistance. What we are suggesting is that you just lay some new pipes by thinking new thoughts. But often you say, well, that conceptually sounds like a really good idea, and I'll get right on that. But the problem is, the other pathway has momentum going, and every time you get down to that juncture where you could go that way in the new pipe or that way in the old pipe sucks you in because it's got more momentum going, because you've been thinking that thought longer. When you think a thought for as little as 17 seconds, another thought like it will join it. More momentum. As you stay focused there, another thought joins it. More momentum. When it crosses the 68-second mark, seriously, when it precisely crosses the 68-second mark, there's enough momentum now that things begin to occur to you in stronger fashion. We would call that, just for sake of clarification here, a manifestation point, a strong enough manifestation point. So now at the beginning of this gathering, we would like to suggest that you let those old pipes that are leading to unwanted things, like not enough money, or not enough clarity, or not enough vitality, or not enough of whatever it is that you want more of, we suggest that you let them clog up from neglect. And the way you let them clog up from neglect is by not thinking those thoughts. So, how do you not think a thought that already has some momentum going? By getting a head start on it. By thinking another thought. I'm not going to think about that thing that I've been thinking about that's not good for me to think about. So I'm not going to think about that thing that I'm thinking about, because I'm not going to think about that thing that I'm thinking about because, well, you're thinking about it too, aren't you? I'm not going to think about that thing that I'm not going to think about because thinking about that thing is not good for me. So I'm not going to think about that thing that I'm not going to think about anymore. I'm not going to think I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, but I don't want to think about that thing that I'm thinking about. I don't mean to think about that thing that I'm thinking about. I can't stop thinking about that thing that I'm thinking about. It's like that thing that I'm thinking about is thinking me. So we want you to realize that there's going to be some of that. Now, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we'd be reaching for thoughts that caused us to blend with the vibration of our source, because we understand how the whole thing works, and that's why we want to explain it to you. As you've been here in this physical body as an extension of that source energy, you've been sifting through the contrast, as we said when we first greeted you today. You've been sifting and coming to new awarenesses, new preferences, new ideas of what would be better for you. And every time that happens, your inner being, that source part of you, becomes the vibrational, pre-manifestational vibrational reality of that. So now you've caused your inner being to expand, to be more prosperous, to have more fun, to feel more exhilarated. You've caused your inner being to expand because of what you've been living. The question that this workshop wants to accentuate, emphasize, and soothe within you is that the question is, where are you in relationship to this new expansion? And your emotions tell you that in every moment in time. So the happier you are, the more blended you are, or the more resonance you have with that, or the more allowing you are. The more negative emotion you're feeling, then the more resistance you have. The bigger the gap is between you and you. And happily ever after is about that closing gap. Not necessarily the closed gap, just the moving in the direction of closing the gap rather than moving in the direction of widening the gap. You're not ever going to get it done. You're not going to really ever close that gap until you croak. We try to be as disrespectful as we can about the deaf subject, since there isn't any. But that's what that is. That's that complete closing of the gap, leaving behind all resistance and reemerging completely with that furthermost expansion that you have become. So, we have a new way of explaining it to you. And those who have been hearing and have been focusing in this new way are getting results, extraordinary results, easily. So here it is. As you stand in your now, do you accept that you are vibrational? Sort of, kind of. And is it logical to you that you have been offering habits of thought so that you do have a point of attraction? When you think of the people you know, or even yourself, in many cases, couldn't you describe most of them who you know well? Couldn't you describe most of them with a singular emotional word? Sort of like the 7 dwarfs. Bashful and happy. In other words, don't you know ornery? Don't you know pensive? Don't you know defensive? Don't you know eager? Don't you know happy? And while everyone you know moves about a bit and could be described in many of these ways, you do sort of have these habits of thought that hold you in those sort of moods, don't you? So we would like you to think of those moods or emotions as vibrational points of attraction, just like the emotional scale that we talked about a few years ago, where there's despair and fear and grief, really low feeling vibrations. And then there is revenge, which is an improvement, and anger, which is an improvement still, and overwhelmment and frustration, improvement still. And then you get into hope, and then you get into joy and eager and appreciation and all those good feeling vibrations. So we want you to think of this grid, this point of attraction, this spinning grid, point of attraction, sweeping around, gathering up all cooperative components and bringing you to them and them to you, because creation is really rendezvousing. It's what it is. Your point of attraction causes you to rendezvous with things that are like you, that are of a vibrational frequency that you are at. So when you begin to identify consciously that you have a point of attraction over which you have complete control, then things get better and better for you. Now, it's the over which you have complete control that is usually a little squirrely for most of you, because you often don't get that momentum started deliberately. It's really a wonderful thing if, when you first awaken in the morning, if you reach for such good feeling thoughts and stubbornly stay focused upon those good feeling thoughts until they gain a little momentum. And in order to accentuate this with you, to sort of really drive the point home with you so that you can be more determined, more aware, that's really what we want you to be aware of, more aware of what you're doing with your point of attraction. So we've begun to call your point of attraction some things that sort of get your attention. We began calling your point of attraction, where you stand right now, your grid. It's sort of like the framework of a building. It's the grid that we'll fill in later. People are telling us they really can't identify with the grid, and we sort of get it, why you can't identify with it. You've got a point of attraction going that isn't completely fleshed out, that will be fleshed out, but if you can become aware of it before it's fleshed out, then it's easier, because once it's fleshed out, it's harder. Our favorite story to accentuate that is, you tell us, or it's like you say, Abraham, I've fallen out of an airplane, and I do not have a parachute. What do you suggest that I do now? You're not usually that calm when you say it, though. And we say, hang on, it'll be over in a little bit. Because there's not much that you can do at that point. There are not action steps that you can take when momentum is moving really fast like that. So we want you to begin thinking about momentum and catching it early, or better said, starting the momentum in the direction of what you want earlier. Mostly, you're a vibrational match to the desires that have already manifested. It's pretty easy, isn't it, to just observe beautiful things that have already materialized and feel appreciation for them. And in fact, if you're doing plenty of that, then you are doing the best thing that we can think of to prepare your own vibrational point of attraction for more good stuff to come to you. Good by your standards, good by your sifting and sorting process. We really want to talk with you until you understand it, so we could be here a little while. We're just kidding. About your point of attraction, because That's everything. Your point of attraction is everything. Law of attraction is managing all vibrational frequencies. And law of attraction brings that which is likened to itself. So, if you are, by virtue of whatever you're observing, or remembering, or imagining, offering a frequency that feels to you when you're offering it like love or appreciation or exhilaration or happiness, then what you're focused upon has you emitting a vibration. And if you do it long enough, 17 seconds and then another and then another and then another until you've crossed the 68-second mark, now you've got some momentum going, and now things that match that vibration are occurring to you. The first manifestation that happens is the emotion that you feel. And we want to call that a manifestation because, boy, can you ever feel it. It's as real as it gets. And so once you get a little momentum going, the manifestations begin to come to accentuate what your point of attraction is. So the emotion comes first, then thoughts begin to flow into your mind. Now really, if we were really telling you exactly how it is, thoughts are coming and emotions are following. But in terms of the manifestations, we want to say that the emotion that you feel is really the first awareness of a manifestation, an actualization, a realization, a materialization, something that showed up, that feels tangible, that is tangible. It's that emotion. And then more thoughts come. They just sort of flood in the form of ideas. So once you're feeling good and ideas are flowing, you're off and rolling. Then nature starts cooperating, birds come to punctuate things and accentuate things, all manner of things begin to happen, and then other humans begin to interact with you in ways that help you to recognize what your point of attraction is right now. Not yesterday and not tomorrow, but right now, where all of your power, all of your point of attraction power is. So if you've been listening to us for a while, have you? You've been hearing us talking about a lot of things. We explained to you that you are source energy far more than you are anything else. And some of you say, well, I get that I was probably source energy before I was me in this body. We say, yes, that is certainly true. But even though you are in this body, the larger part of you is still source energy. There is still a non-physical vibrational counterpart. Humans sometimes refer that as your soul. We've been calling it your inner being, but that vibrational beingness exists while you're here in this physical body. And it emits a constant signal to which you have constant reference. That's what your emotions are. They are the realization of the variance in the frequency between you and what you're thinking right now and that larger part of you. In other words, the larger part of you loves that guy you're annoyed with. And the reason you feel annoyance is because you're choosing something that is a variance. When you feel about something as the source within you feels, you feel always positive emotion. Joy, exhilaration, love, appreciation. So any variance that feels like overwhelmment or irritation or anger or fear or depression or grief, any of those emotions mean you're looking at it very different than the source within you, and that's your guidance. We've enjoyed this interaction more than we can explain to you through words. So we've decided to just assist you in demonstrating the paradigm shift that you've accomplished in the hours that we've been together. So rather than just telling you how much we love you and telling you how good it's going to be, just watch what happens next. Watch what happens next. Move forward with expectation of improvement in every area of your experience. And as they begin coming, and they will, these moments of awareness, stop for a moment and just acknowledge what happened here in this vibrational resetting of your point of attraction. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain stubbornly, chronically, eternally in the vortex.